Hey everybody, I went and grabbed my pop. See back there scrounging around. Come up the Caliente Creek Canyon and just gonna check out some of these old mines. And there's a lot of mining history in this area, and over on the other side down towards Bodfish. We'll hit that later, Havilah in that area. But this is what is known as the Amalie mine. And this mine was originally started by a fellow from Caliente. I don't recall his name. I had the story of the beginning and the ending of this mine written down, and drove off and left it at home. But it was started in the 1890s by a guy from Caliente, and just after the turn of the century, he sold it to a mining company, and that's when it became the Amalie mine. And they operated it, and they're the ones that built all this and brought the stamp mills and everything in. And then when they sold their interest in this mine, it was operated sporadically by smaller companies and individual interests. And last active record of it being mined was in 1936. I'm not big on mining. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just find the whole thing interesting, especially the just the old ruins. But anyway, let's take a walk around here and see what we can see. Okay, this is the main part of the works. That would be the shaft up there where they brought the product up out of the ground, the ore. And you can see the concrete foundations and stanchions up there where they would have had the motor works. There's a opening right there. I guess that's where it would have come through. And we'll crawl up there, see if we can find a little more without going inside. But the way this is stepped off like this, that looks like probably where they would have had the stamp mills, and they bring the ore down through stamp mills, and they have a motor that ran a shaft with big cams on it, and it would lift these big heavy iron stamps up and down, lift them up, and they would just drop on the ore and crush it. Must have been quite a hell of a noisy place to be. Messy, dusty, but still a pretty cool ruins. Just some empty rooms in here. Yeah. Looks like this was some sort of an office or something. Still has desks, and that looks like a pedestal for some type of, maybe even a scale was in here at some point. Not much left. I don't know tell what that might have been over there, Pop?
You know, I don't know. They looked like it was restrooms. Looked like they had toilets and sinks and stuff in there.
Yeah, maybe this is where they got all cleaned up.
Down below it's right above that pond there. I guess that pond is where they got their water.
Up here?
No, down below. It's below this building here.
Oh, there's a pond?
Yeah, go around the other end of it.
Yeah, this apparently oh, hello, welcome to my beautiful mansion. Enjoy the stay, April 30th, 2012. P.S. Why hasn't anybody thought to write up here before? I don't know. Maybe because they didn't feel like doing graffiti on these places. Probably just some kind of a storeroom or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
It sure would be cool.
Sewer.
Yeah, the old sewer pipe there, and that old busted up toilet there. Oh yeah. Yeah. Pond down there. They probably had some sort of a pump to pump the water up here.
But the pond goes all the way down there.
Yeah. And I don't know what that might have been up there. I've climbed up to the upper level of this. There's where the works would have been for the stuff mounted up here. Don't know exactly what it would have been, but there's definitely a chute that dumps out of that. It probably has a bucket system on a belt up here and dumped right here out of that door. You can see the chute up there at the top and worked its way down to whatever it's going to do. All right, climbed up to the top of these works. This is all covered in here, but inside there is obviously where the product was lifted up through that shaft to be dumped down below. I say obviously, there's also something that used to be there. All right, this looks like it was probably the actual mine entrance. And you can see these concrete things here that led down to where all the work was done. All right, a couple more buildings down at the bottom we want to check out. And we will go do that right now. Another abandoned building. A concrete and stone storeroom type thing behind it. Another one that's just got a lot of damage and a bunch of crap laying in it. No idea what it once was. Just another old building. Kind of a longer shot. There's that building we were just at. The tin building where the restrooms were, and the building over there that check out here in a minute. And up there is the, you can zoom in on it, it's hard to see. Yeah, there's the main part of the building where we were up above a while ago. So it's a pretty compact area, but it looked like a pretty significant operation. Dad pointed something out that I've never noticed before. Not that I've been up here too many times to notice. An old adobe something or another over there. I don't know if that was maybe a kill or just a house or what, but sure is cool looking. I'll come up here some other time and doing some photography and get some shots of that. All right, we've moved back down a little further. That's where we were a minute ago. Now, this is I don't know what this was, but it was pretty significant. Looked important. It's painted. Floor's sketchy, so I won't try that out. Hate to end up down in the bottom floor through that hole. Then this place here, I'm not sure what any of these things were. Who knows? They may have had bunk houses or that's all just really starting to really fall apart. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come up here and do this. I saw some pictures on the internet of this place someone had taken recently, and it's the last time I was up here was in the 80s as far as stopping and doing anything, and it is really fallen down. So I wanted to document this before the next big storm blows it down or somebody vandalizes it and burns it down. So Dad and I were just talking. It's a shame people can't just leave things alone for their historic significance, but everybody's got to be a butthole. This must have been maybe the assay or something where they kept the actual product, and you can see it had bars on the windows. Here, those ones there are gone in that window, but they're still on that little window there, so they did not want people getting in here. Looking back at the places we were, and again up at the bulwarks, whatever they called them, where the stamp mill was. All right, well, we're gonna move on up the road and see if we can locate some other cool stuff. All right, well, we decided not to go back through the main part of the Lions Trail where the other two mines I was going to look at is. We went out ahead and went through Walker Basin. We're up above Havilah now, just south of Havilah on Bodfish Road, and that chimney right there and that little foundation, there used to be a little house there, a little cabin, and that's where we lived when I was an infant. And the last time I came up here with my mom, it was still here, and that was in about 97 or something like that. But I've got some pictures of that somewhere I'll post alongside this. That cabin up there is where my granny and granddad lived. And the reason we lived up here is the family had a claim on a mine in Havilah, and Dad and Granddad were working that claim, and so they were staying up here for a while. How long did we live up here?
A little over a year.
A little over a year. I, of course, don't remember it. But anyway, this is where we used to live when I was a baby. All right, let's head on down into Havilah and see if we can find anything cool down there. Okay, we are in Havilah, right about in the middle of town. There's a cemetery over there. We'll check that out here in a minute. But this was the road that went down. We went down, and Dad said it curved around over there. Went that way, and then up on the hill, our mine was up there. This is a picture of my granddad, Willie Anderson, working on the crusher at the mine in Havilah. And right there you can see the old remains of the grist mill where they ground grains and wheats and whatnot. Rather than using big rocks. There's an old, I'm assuming that was a residence down there. Yeah, but yeah, you can't even see any remnants of the road anymore. But we used to come up here and, gosh, what did we have? That 60 Chevy or 61 Chevy back then?
54 Ford.
54 Ford. And then we had a cabin up there. Wasn't there a cabin up there at the mine?
Well, Granddad's brother,
Ed,
built a cabin. He lived there.
Oh. I'm sure he didn't do anything but live there. But
No, he worked that mine for a long time.
oh, did he?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Guess I shouldn't talk shit about my relatives without having all the information first. But anyway, you can see that huge old cottonwood there fell over and just about did the grist mill in. But anyway, this is Havilah. Let's walk across to the old graveyard and see what's up over there. All right, we are in the old Havilah Cemetery. Nice day for a bike ride. This is the site of the first Catholic church, St. Joseph's and Cemetery, built in Kern County in August 1866. It was established by Father Francis Dade, the circuit priest headquartered in Visalia. The Catholic church here in Havilah was moved to Bakersfield in 1873 when the gold ran out. St. Francis Church was then built in Bakersfield in 1881 and is still a principal parish to this day. For those of you who don't know, Havilah was established as the first county seat, Kern County, in 1866 and remained the county seat till 1873 when it was moved to Bakersfield.
The one that had the gold mine that Harry Miller got the mine from.
Now, did you guys got the mine from Harry?
Yeah.
Oh, little baby, born in 1877, died 1878. Boy, none of them were all kids. That's sad. And for all of you who long for the good old days, that's the way things were. They were not the good old days. Mary McGurk of Meade County, Ireland.
Age 77?
A lot of small headstones here. Probably no one actually remembers where any of them go. Now he was like crippled up from an explosion or something, wasn't he?
Got blown up. Mine. Uranium mine. Yeah, he during the winter he'd go work in that uranium mine up there almost up to Piss Point. And him and two other guys was working in there. They drilled a bunch of powder holes, set the dynamite, and lit the fuses, went outside to wait until it blew up so they'd go in there and dig. And they sat there and drank. He got real drunk. Y'all, if your powder doesn't go, leave. Come back the next day. And he, I'll go in there and check on that and see what happened. And he walked up to the face of that mine and went, and paralyzed him on one side. He was in the hospital for a long time. God.
Well, all I got to say about that is I'm glad I worked for the railroad. All right, so that is not much of a cemetery, not very big, but cool nonetheless. Cool headstones. Let's move on down the road and check out what some of these places used to be. It's a little walking tour. All right, they have a little walking tour, and they have some of the things posted where things used to be. The Bella Union Hotel was one of the more significant structures in Havilah, and this was the entrance to it. The livery stable was there across the street. And then the post office was right there. And Mrs. Miller's store was right there by where that tree is. And that little sign right there, just to the left of that steel water tank thing, is where the barber shop was. The next sign up, about 100 yards up the road, was the blacksmith shop. And this was the Grand Hotel. I'm pretty certain that that wasn't the structure. And this is one of the restored buildings. This was the Havilah School, 1867. Point of interest, last stagecoach robbery in Kern County occurred near here on August 28, 1896. Kernville Stage Caliente was held up by a lone gunman on horseback who got $1,700 in coin and gold bullion from the Wells Fargo strongbox. He did not molest the passengers, however. Although local citizenry searched doggedly, the loot was never recovered nor the bandit ever apprehended. As a result of the stick-up, the route was discontinued, thus ending an era. I did not know that. Got some little picnic benches. You want to come up here sometime and look around, get a little history on your brain, and sit and have a picnic. Do not sit or slide on cable. Little access to the creek down there that's dry.
That's where the gold was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's where the gold was found. It just didn't come from the mines.
Yeah, it washed down.
Oh, washed down from the mines. Yeah. So there's a lot of placer, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was all just dry mining up in the hills.
No, they had placer mines here.
And for those of you who don't know my dad, he's jack of all trades. He's done a lot of prospect. Sorry for the break. My camera shut off because it said it was too hot. It's not very hot outside, but anyway, I was talking about the things my dad did. He decided while we were waiting for my phone to cool off that he was going to cool off, so he's in the truck. But Dad was a blacksmith, farrier. He worked in the oil fields. He was a woodworker, ornamental iron, ornamental blacksmithing. He did it all, and wrote poetry, cowboy poetry. He's a jack of all trades, a true Renaissance man. Here's the historical marker for Havilah. Gold deposits at Havilah were discovered in 1864 after Kern County was organized in 1866. Havilah was the county seat until 1872. Sorry, I said 1873 earlier. Again, I was mistaken. When the government was moved to Bakersfield, Havilah was an active mining center for more than 20 years. There are still some active mines in this vicinity. But this is a replica of the old courthouse. But this is now a museum. It's not open today. This is Thursday. It's only open on Saturday and Sunday from April to September. Okay, you heard us talking about the guy named Harry Miller when we were up at Havilah. Dad was telling the story about how he was blown up in a mine explosion and almost killed. That mine entrance over there was to a uranium mine, and that is where that happened. That's where Harry Miller nearly met his fate. Dad pointed that out to me as we were headed down the road, and I thought that's pretty interesting, so I wanted to catch it. All right. Okay, we are just over the top of the hill there. Havilah's back that way. Dad pointed out something else. That down there is the old Havilah stage road. You see it goes around the edge of the mountain there, and when it went up back there at the end of that draw and came back and started going that way where you can see up towards those telephone poles, robbers used to hang out in those trees back there and rob the stagecoach when it went by. And I thought that was a pretty neat little thing. Another little experience on the road trip with Dad. All right. I wanted to stop here and get a little shot. This is looking down into the Kern Valley. For those of you who aren't from around here, that is Lake Isabella down there. The highway, the road you can see to the left is Highway 178. Goes over to Ridgecrest, and the road to the right is Lake Isabella Boulevard. Goes through the community of Lake Isabella. The lake isn't real low. I've seen it lower, but they've got the dam fixed now to where they can fill it up as much as they want to. But anyway, that's the community of Bodfish right down there below us. That is the road back up towards Havilah. And that is the road down. And we'll be down there on that piece of road here in a second. Anyway, I just wanted to get a shot of Lake Isabella from up here. All right, well, that will conclude our little road trip up to the Amalie mine and into Havilah. And the reason I chose this spot here to conclude this and do my little piece in the end, good grief, I don't have my sunglasses on. As Dad was telling me that when he and my granddad used to work in the mine up there at Havilah, they'd go down into Lake Isabella or Bodfish.
Well, it was, yeah, it would have been bodfish. Yeah.
Bodfish.
Yeah.
They'd go down there and have them some beers, and when they got back up to this point, they always had to pee, so they pulled over and they started calling this Piss Point. And I thought that was funny and interesting and a piece of family history. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the little tour. Had a good time doing it. Always love hanging out with Pop. And as usual, if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments below or shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. See what I can do. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. And we will see you all later.